At the age of 24, Devin Booker has already put the NBA on notice and made it clear he's one of the brightest young stars in the league. Here are 10 things you didn't know about Devin Booker. Father was an NBA player. Devin and his father, Melvin, proved the old saying, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, to be true. Melvin played professionally from 1994 to 2008, including for 2 seasons in the NBA for 3 different teams, the Nuggets, Rockets, and Warriors. I bet Denver wishes they had used the 7th overall pick in the 2015 draft on Melvin's son, as opposed to Emmanuel Mudiay. Melvin played in college at Missouri, where he won Conference Player of the Year in his senior season, and led the Tigers to an undefeated conference record. He was named an All-American that season, as he averaged 18.1 points and 4.5 assists per game. His NBA numbers weren't as impressive, as his career averages were 5.2 points, 2.3 assists, and 1.2 rebounds per game. Didn't start a single game in college. In his 38 career games at Kentucky, Booker was never in the starting lineup. Not only that, but he played just 21.5 minutes per game in his lone season of college ball. Devin averaged 10 points, 2 rebounds, and 1.1 assists per contest as a Wildcat. While those numbers don't exactly scream future NBA star, they were enough for him to win the SEC 6th Man of the Year award and make the All-SEC second team. Looking back, it obviously seems crazy that Booker wasn't starting or playing more, but the strategy worked pretty well for Kentucky as they finished with a 38-1 record that season, with their only loss coming in the Final Four to Wisconsin. Is dating Kendall Jenner. Devin was quite the 6th man in college at Kentucky, so maybe he leaned on that experience in 2020 as he became the 6th man on Kendall Jenner's roster of NBA boyfriends. Jenner had allegedly dated 5 NBA players prior to Booker: Jordan Clarkson, D'Angelo Russell, Blake Griffin, Ben Simmons, and Kyle Kuzma. Kendall and Devin have known each other since 2018, as Book was dating Kylie Jenner's former best friend, Jordan Woods, who was now dating Karl Anthony Towns. A move to Mississippi changed his life. Booker grew up with his mom and 2 siblings in Grand Rapids, Michigan, as his dad played professionally in Europe and Asia for 11 years. Once Devin's dad retired from basketball, he moved to Moss Point, Mississippi, and Devin permanently joined him there while in high school. It was a tough transition. My pops, he brought me down from the hood, man. I learned a lot. Being that young and having to understand different cultures and understand these kids who were raised differently than I was used to, I had to earn people's respect, said Devin. With his dad now training and constantly pushing him, Devin developed a whole new work ethic and attitude. I fell in love with the grind. I fell in love with the process. I fell in love with being in those gyms. Me and my dad always joke about it, but he said I need to bring that dog out. Being in those gyms down in Moss Point brought the extra dog out of me. Having my father around, his stern voice, shaped and molded me into what I became and what I'm becoming, said Devin. Has an incredible vintage car collection. Booker's basketball playing style is not his only flashy aspect. He also has quite the vintage car collection. During the 2021 NBA playoffs, Devin has been showing off his collection as he arrives at the arena. Prior to Game 1 of the Western Conference semifinals against the Nuggets, Book showed up in a Chevrolet Caprice with gold rims. He did the same thing with another gem from his collection in LA, before closing out the defending champs in Game 6 of the first round. When he's not rolling up to arenas about to shred opposing teams, Devin regularly flaunts his cars on his Instagram. It's pretty clear what Book has been using a good chunk of his 5-year, $158 million contract on. Was the youngest player to ever score 70 points. While most 20-year-olds were probably partying in college or studying at a library, Booker was busy dropping 70 points on the Boston Celtics. He became the youngest player in NBA history to score at least 60 points in a game, broke the Suns' franchise record for most points in a game, became only the 6th player in league history to score 70 in a game, and scored the most points ever in a game against the Celtics, all in one night at the age of just 20. He also added in 8 rebounds and 6 assists for good measure. Somehow, even with this video game-like performance from Book, the Suns lost 130 to 120. Tattooed Kobe's message to him on his arm. From a young age, Booker idolized Kobe Bryant as he appreciated his skill and competitiveness. So when Kobe gifted Devin a pair of his signature shoes with the phrase "Be Legendary" written on them, after Bryant's last career game in Phoenix back in 2016, it meant even more. Those 2 words held so much meaning to Booker that he decided to permanently put them on his body with a tattoo on his forearm. As Booker went off for 47 points to knock out Kobe's old team in the first round of the 2021 playoffs, Devin had the Black Mamba and those 2 special words on his mind. night. After that Game 6, Booker said, "Honestly, I was thinking about Kobe and the conversations that we had, kinda about what we just went through, the postseason and being legendary and taking the steps to get there. So seeing that 8 and that 24 up there, with the way that the lighting that Staples has right here, feels like it's shining down on you. I know he was here tonight. I know he was here tonight. I know he's in the building. I know he was proud." Has Hispanic roots. Devin's grandfather immigrated from Nogales, Mexico, to Michigan, where Devin was raised until high school. After his grandfather's passing and being drafted by the Suns, Booker decided to try to get more in touch with his roots. "When I was drafted by Phoenix, I finally got to see the Hispanic culture around me for the first time in my life. You drive around the city, you look into the stands at the game, and you see it. That made me want to learn about myself much more, honestly, because I just hadn't been around," said Booker. When it comes to inspiring the next generation of Hispanic basketball players, Devin realizes the potential role his story can play. "My journey and my path, I hope it opens up something in their minds to let them know that they're capable of doing exactly what I've done," said Booker. Is a hardcore gamer. As it turns out, Devin's childhood was more similar to those of a regular teenager than you might think. While he was definitely more talented at basketball, Booker used to wait outside of game stores the night before the newest Call of Duty would come out. That love for video games and Call of Duty in particular didn't fade for Devin after becoming an NBA superstar. During the pandemic last year, Booker claimed he was playing Call of Duty for 5 to 10 hours per day. When asked about competition in the game from other NBA players, Devin responded by saying, "If I'm being completely honest, I don't think anyone is at my level." Is the highest paid player in Suns franchise history. In the summer of 2018, Booker signed a 5-year, $158 million contract extension with the Suns, making him the highest paid player in franchise history. He had played 3 seasons in Phoenix at the time, where he averaged 19.8 points, 3.5 assists, and 3.5 rebounds per game. Book also became the 3rd youngest player in NBA history to reach 2,000 points, with only LeBron and KD doing it at younger ages. With that being said, though, the Suns went 68 and 178 in those 3 seasons, never finishing with a win percentage of above 300. The organization saw past the ugly team results and believed Devin could be a franchise cornerstone. Fast forward just a few years, and it seems that they couldn't have been more right.